let's just start with the celebration in the classroom in general. So what's been, before we get into this, what's been a celebration in the classroom? Like this week's coming back.
My kids aren't really out of routine. And I really like that I didn't have to like most of the time I have to go over like expectations and like what I expect them to do all over again. And I haven't had to do that one time. Like I haven't had to like fix what they're doing or tell them like, hey, you know, at this time we're at a voice level 0. I haven't had to do anything, so that's been really nice.
Okay. Cool. It's not.
I believe that. Last time, nonsense, that there was the higher learning now, that you go on the favorite kind of chart.
Yeah.
This one, how they just,
Yeah.
really to learn. That 1 week or whatever, give me the skills in that, really on this.
Love that. Perfect. Okay, so we all have the warehouse open. Let's look. So if we're looking at your quantile levels, compile. Let's count. So rather than this time doing, and this is why I didn't have you guys do this part ahead of time because it's different. So yeah.
I was trying to fill it out earlier and
Yeah.
I was like, this doesn't make sense.
Correct. We've never done it in this recording grade. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna go through, and you're gonna count how many Q5s you have. So it's that first column in the warehouse. So you're gonna count your Q5s, count your Q4s, your Q3s, and your 1s and 2s you're gonna put together. Unless you have 7, then that's fine too. And you can just put the student number, you don't need a percentage. So just how many kids in each one, and then we'll compare. It's about like, I don't know, minute, 7 minutes?
Yeah, should fine too. You know what, that works. Me in the middle.
Let me repeat that, please. Thank you.
So she wants us to go through the right here, and then you're gonna count how many Q5s you have, Q4s, Q3s, and then your Q1 and 2s go together. Yes.
1 and 2 go together.
Yep, but every other one is separately. It's separate.
Yeah.
It's separately? That was crazy. What kind of English was that? I gotta get my life together. Oh yeah.
Did you have 1, or no, did you have 1 for 11, 9? Did you have 1 for 5? 4 for 4?
1, 8 for 4. Yeah.
That's good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh.
I have 1, 8, 8, and 7.
Okay, so when we're looking at that, that's letting us know kind of grouping our kids, so how they did overall. So overall, when you're looking at your class, how did they do based on those levels?
Not very hard.
Okay.
You said for spelling, right?
It does the whole thing. So that first column does the whole thing. Yeah, no, you're okay. The first, it makes it look like it's for spelling, but really it's for the whole entire shebang, so it's okay. Okay, so then when we look at the top, we can see that Donna's class had 30% mastery for the whole test, and McGregor's class had 4% mastery for the whole test. This was a very hard test. So now we're gonna break down, because we see that this is a problem. We're looking at 30 and 40%, or 30 and 4%, that's.
We are looking for more than the solid,
So with how low those are, we need to go through now and break down each section to see where we need to spend the most time on like their reteach. So to do that, because we haven't done this either, so let's, Miss Donna and McGregor, if you go to your name at the top, and where you see 30 and 4%, click on it. So Dama, click on the 30%.
Making noise.
No, I'm gonna show you how to make this easy for you to look at, because otherwise it's harder. Okay, so you're gonna scroll all the way over. So just with your little cursor, move your arrow. And you're gonna go to the column AA. To the right. Just take your little arrow and move the arrow until you get to AA. Same with you, McGregor.
I got my 15.
Perfect, yeah.
Up here was Dama. Yep, up here. So you go to your, that here, and you're gonna scroll up to the right here. Right there, right there,
Yeah. So now we're gonna note that for the spelling assessment, 68% of Dama's class showed mastery. And McGregor, how much was yours?
50%.
Okay, perfect. So if we scroll over some more, so keep scrolling. Now we're going into the reading comprehension section of the test. We're gonna see what the overall percentages were there.
Here,
McGregor, what was yours?
4%.
And Dama, what was yours?
32. Sorry. Yeah, I can say it.
Sorry,
Yeah.
didn't make it.
32, it's okay.
Girl,
So-
mine is 4. We ain't gonna talk about not making it, honey.
Let's go to the last one.
Jesus.
And the last one was the grammar and morphology section. And what were your overall class percentages there? It's okay. We gotta name it. And we gotta just figure it out. So it's okay. Dama? No, go over one more. 18. Yep. McGregor?
4.
Yeah. So we see our two lowest groups were what? The two lowest sections of the test were grammar and morphology, and what else?
Reading comprehension.
Reading comprehension. So now, what we're gonna do is we're going to decide, do we need to focus on grammar and morphology, or do we need to focus more on reading comprehension based on what we see happening all day in class and where we need our kids to be able to grow by the end of the year?
I have 2 answers.
Okay? Yeah, 2 answers is fine, go for it.
Grammar and morphology, I can bring in there because that's quick, easy. Literally, I can teach it, it's explicit. This,
Yep.
like one of those subject and predicate, you break it right down. That would easily cut them 2 points.
Alright.
So those kind of bring me more. So I would teach grammar and morphology right away, because reading comprehension take a long time. They have to read, they have to do this. This is quick recognition. I was thinking that.
Okay.
And also, reverse of that, reading gets more points because there's a lot of functions in there. Grammar is harder. So I can go both ways.
Okay. McGregor, what are your thoughts on which one we should focus on? And you don't have to go by the first, like, yeah, doesn't matter, so McGregor.
Honestly, morphology, but I feel like reading comprehension is more of what they see on a lot of tests. I think that might be a little more.
So I think they're reading comprehension because it's not going away and it's not changing. So like,
It'll keep going for every grade. Eventually, they're not going to be doing subject and predicate in, 6,
well,
7,
and they'll get
8,
it,
but
right?
it'll be
But
like,
the biggest bang for our buck is going to be
right.
the reading comprehension section. So now what we're gonna do is let's focus on just the reading comprehension section. So if you go, we're looking at columns AC through AR at the very top.
You see? Yeah.
We're now gonna go through and we're gonna identify the 2 lowest, or I'm sorry, 3. Let's identify 3 questions that students performed the lowest on overall. Okay? So if we're looking at McGregor's, you're gonna go through, and it's okay if they're not the exact same.
You see? Yeah. You see? Mine is being hidden by your name over there.
Sorry, do I need
No,
my,
you're good.
there you go, I moved my cursor.
You said 3 questions. Byers.
Just focus on your lowest 3.
You can use me, yeah.
Okay. Donna, now, what are your lowest three questions?
This question will be question 7.
Yep.
Actually, question 8 is 32, so
Yeah.
I should keep that one first. But anyway, 236 is 132. In other words, 7, 8, and part A of what question now?
Yep, I had that too. And then McGregor, what are your three lowest?
Number 4, number 6, and number 5.
8.
So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go look at those those 6 questions, because they're completely different from each other. And we're gonna look to see what the question was asking the kids. So now we've identified the levels and where kids were. We identified the lowest section that kids performed in. And now we're gonna go look to see what their error was. So now let's go into those questions and see, based on what they should have got and what we had for them to answer, compared to how they did answer.
I hope I made a mistake, so I can.
So, question 7. I have 4.1 for that. Do you agree, 4.1? For 7, the inferencing question, the inferencing standard. That's what I put
That
for
was
7
really
and
strong
8.
for them,
Hmm.
because they were thinking, so far they just talked about castles that relates attacks.
Yeah.
They could not, it was too much for them. I don't know why they missed, I thought that was easy, but a lot
No,
more.
for number 4.
Number
No,
7.
7.
Never mind.
It was pretty straightforward, because attack, you see the word in there, I don't know why they, it's more for fancy, I even talked about right now, I even mentioned the lady that did this one, her home became more people-based kind of thing, so
Yeah.
those big castles, they're no longer for that purpose, they changed it for these just kind of, I will talk about it, I don't know why they did it.
Yeah, the text says castles become impressive homes rather than defensive structures. Why was there a change in the way these castles were used? They could no longer provide enough protection to withstand an attack. What did they say overall, Donna, when you were looking at that? What did most kids
Most of
say?
the kids, give me just a second.
Look at let me see the student work, because it's not gonna show it on there.
Yeah, that's
So
those
it's just
things.
0.
Yeah. Let me pick open to 7. I saw an A over there.
There you go.
See, that's an A too.
A base from which to launch an attack.
Because that's what they learned. So that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Okay, so let's, identify the standards for each of those 3 questions, unless you already know them. And then let's talk about what we're gonna do moving forward to reteach that standard, or if we know the standard's coming back up, which it probably is, what we can do to teach it different, okay? So let's name the standard for all of those questions.
Wait, you said 4 questions, man. I only have question 7, 8, and 9, part 8. What was the other one? I'm so sorry.
No, you have the correct ones, I just meant because she had different ones than you.
Since it's an inference, a little bit, it's in there. This is also. Literally, we charge the one and you do that.
I know.
Cinnamon mixed up, and the.
Minus 4 RL 2.4.
For which question?
4 and 6, just comparing and contrasting with these features.
I would put RC4.
Inference, maybe?
Yes.
So RC1,
They're
just
all
teach.
RC1, yes, they are all.
Just teach
For all
RC1.
3 of yours are RC1.
Um,
Yes.
I was thinking, what do you think, ma'am? Question 8, since they asked the synonym for it, I went for context clues 2, which is RC10.
Yeah,
That way at least we have a different stuff.
yeah,
So
you
teach-
could. Yep.
So just go teach RC1 the whole entire.
Okay, so now we've identified the standards that we need to go back and reteach.
Small groups.
Yes. So what are our small groups looking like next week? Do we have them planned out yet, or can we focus on these standards for next week? Yep. It's okay.
Minor.
Okay.
Since we don't have the rest list, instead of the 4 groups that we made earlier.
Yep.
I'm only doing 2 because it's taking forever to catch up with agreement.
Yep.
So I'm only doing 2, half and half. Each them. If they did it, I'm going to make the single word body groups. So I start with the highest, which is table 1 and 2. Each when they got it, they have their backwards kind of thing. And I go with the rest of them, most of them. And those, if Miss Stewart and Miss Scott comes in and like, we have to be the same. They go, so I deal with the other ones. Just, so my goal is to teach everything, but if they're wrong, the other group, I teach them. That's how it's going. So that's, those who got it, go back on the phone.
Okay, so
We can
let's,
use this topic.
yeah, so let's look at the individual kids who scored zeros on those questions and let's write them down. So that way we're only focusing on those kids rather than John, maybe feeling like you have to focus on everyone and feeling like it's too much. So let's, exactly. So let's cut that and let's just look at our zeros and write those kids down.
And start with them. And start with them.
Yes, and only focus on them for next week. So those are your groups for next week. Because otherwise, those other, like, those kids that scored a 1, they've shown us that they understand RC1.
So don't you know,
Not for your groups for next week.
just 1 week for
Now,
them.
they have independent work though, that they're working on,
Oh,
obviously. Right. But for your groups, let's just focus on the kids that did not answer those 3 questions correctly.
So take 1 question at a time.
Yeah, or you can just look across, so like, let's say if I'm looking at, cause yours 3 were 7, 8, and 9, so if I look at Artemis didn't get 7 and 8, but did get, got a half point of 9, so Artemis would be on your list. And then Jonathan would be on your list. Maximus. Ivana.
David 1.
Yeah. I think you can, Amy is good, you don't need to pull Amy, even though she got B wrong, she got the other 2 right. So what if you put to the side, put Amy to the side? So let's put like an A group and a B group. So the A group is all kids who got straight zeros. The B group is gonna be kids who's like got 7 or 8 right, but maybe missed 9. So that way we can differentiate them. And then the grader, you're gonna do the same thing with your questions. Does that make sense? Okay.
Even. And less,
Elizabeth. Elijah for sure. Delilah, I'm sorry. Emily Perez. Karen Riddle. Daniel. Allison. You could put DeMarcus in your other, Okay, so now,
let's look at questions that if the same names pop up, then that's.
I already looked at all of them.
Oh,
I looked across the board. Yep, I just did a quick,
And
okay, so,
I'm going to ask you something, ma'am. Do you think I should take a passage for RC1 and start the work for the whole week? I can do that, because I still have time, I can prep for it.
what did you wanna do?
This is RC1, right?
Yes.
Do you think I should print a kind of material that lasts the whole week, so I can teach them explicit that
Yes.
about it? I can prep for it.
Yes, but only make it so,
These
because,
ones.
yeah, but you have so many kids that we need to break them up into groups now, so
Yes.
if you did,
Half and half. So Monday, Wednesday, and then Friday I go to the problem.
yes. Well, let's do, you could do Monday,
So this is the 6 ones. So here is the 6, Monday and Wednesday. There will be Tuesday and Thursday.
do, yes, Monday, Wednesday, yes,
Tuesday.
and then Tuesday, yeah.
This
Uh-huh.
I can do any.
Correct, anytime, morning, correct.
So
These,
this is.
yes, and those, yes.
So Monday, Wednesday one group, Tuesday and Thursday one group, and then everyone who's got on Friday, just to see that
That's
they
fine.
got it and then.
That's fine.
So make the material ready for them. Because I just want to do with them. Rest of them, I don't want to leave them, and I give them another stronger, higher level, 50 grade kind of, and then let them work with the same.
And see
RC.
how it goes, yeah, to see how it goes, and then I would be like 15 or 10 minutes working on that, and then they get on iReady, and they do that for their week. So they spend, like, put the timer on for like 10 minutes, work 10 minutes on your passage, and the 10 minutes is up, get on iReady. Okay?
I can be up with them anyway, so all the
Yeah.
time.
Uh-huh. Do you want to figure out what you're gonna use for your small groups?
If you have the material ready, I'll put out. If not, I like.
Yeah, let's find it right now. We got time, let's get it done. McGregor, what you got?
Very
Yep, so now let's look through, do the exact same thing you just did.
Thank you for.
Are any of these kids getting cold during this time? Put a star by the kids getting cold.
well, the babies.
Put a star by kids who are consistently cold. Don't put a star, let's just do it, and if they're not in it, they're not in it, okay?
I was gonna
That's
say, 'cause
easier.
they're
Let's just,
inconsistent.
okay, let's just, okay. So,
Respectfully,
okay, so let's just,
because realistically, she should get pulled, she
Yes.
should get pulled, she should get pulled, he should get pulled, he should get pulled, he should get pulled, she should get pulled, she should get pulled, like, that's,
so then if we're looking at this, how do you wanna break your groups? Or you could break this group in half and kind of do what Donna just did, so,
and I do that kind of Monday through
Correct.
Wednesdays, and I do Tuesdays and Thursdays for my other,
right? So do break this in half, do half Monday, and say the other Tuesday, Thursday, and these kids, I might just put them in, give it to them again and see if they can get it. They got one good.
They got one of the 3 questions right. And they all got a different one right. So it's not like I can like, oh, they all need to work on this type of question. Because they all got it right. Oh, God.
In your group time, do you have time to
You show me
do like 15 minutes of
Just need your help.
them,
Yeah. I can do it for you. Yeah, no problem.
like on Tuesday and Thursday?
Yeah. So I was thinking,
Like if you did half of this group on Monday,
yeah.
the other half of this group on Monday, so you do 2 groups, do you have time to do 2 groups in one session? That's what I'm
I usually do
thinking.
that's how I usually.
That's perfect, so some teachers are just doing one paper day.
No, I do mine like this.
So then that's how, so then this is your Monday, Wednesdays,
With the text.
this is your
Let's
Tuesday.
double check with her, but as long
But
as
you can
that
also pull some of
connects
those
to the question.
Yes, because you're being asked to one.
Does that make sense?
Like what, this one, right, is that obviously, I mean, auto 4.1 is the first time standard is the same? How they-
Those are common core standards.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking, because it's, I read, remember you just said print out the stuff?
Mhm.
Do you think this matches equally from, I read? So, do you see the first one, RL 4.1?
That's
That's what I
the,
said.
that's the match, that's the match.
So.
Yeah, 4.1 matches.
That way, they have the both one.
Yep, that's the correlation.
Yeah. So instead of being 4th grade, then for 5th grade for the other half of the
Yes,
grades. and
yes. But stay the 4th grade for your small group for them to
Yeah,
read.
and different in 4th grade, yeah. I mean, if it would let me read them, but it's. Oh, yes, it does.
Okay. Alright, so now let's find what you wanna do for your small group for that time frame.
Yeah. Okay, I'll throw this one. I'm ready to go ahead and take this, please. If you say yes, I will go ahead and take this one.
See what the, I wanna look at the question types to see if they match the test question types. That would be my only thought process there.
Then we have to find a different.
I have an idea. I have an idea. Hold on. We're done with it. Okay, so I'm watching, so give me 1 second. this to you. And then you can look and see if you think that these question types match what was on the test and what we were trying to get them to be able to understand. I'm gonna put it in a Word doc and I'll share it with you. And then just go through those questions and see if they kind of, sort of, if they relate. If they don't, we can edit them or not use it at all.
Well, they have to go back in the text, this is what I like.
Yep.
Because they have confusion.
I would even make them go back and underline.
Yeah,
Be very, very
and they
sensitive how to do
know
it.
it's on the side.
Yep. Yep.
Do you want to do just this or have more blank? Because I don't think this is enough for the whole week. Because
Well,
two
Because you're only doing,
times, 2 times, my one that's there.
so, well, do you think they're gonna have time, because how long is your group with each kid? How long is each group?
45 minutes, it's 45 to get it right.
So,
45 minutes. I agree. Right, I will do that, it's 45 minutes, and 50.
Maybe usually 25 minutes, instead of 15 minutes.
Usually only 20, because whatever the group that is more, I just manage it. So I was thinking that 45, 50 minutes, 20, 50, that's what we do, 15 minutes.
I would run 2 groups up instead of doing 1 full, so you have 20 minutes, right? So 20 and 20 is what you have, so 40 minutes total for the week. For the group,
Yeah, I just do 15 and 15,
that's fine.
just to like keep it even, and then if I need to go back over something with the group, then I will, but.
So then if you do that, then on day 1, they would read the passage and you could do questions 1 and 2. And then day 2, they would read the passage again,
That's a good idea.
and then they would do the next, whatever other 2 questions you find are the most valuable. So that way they're not rushing, because we want it to be very, like, we understand we have to go back into the text, we have to find the answer, and we need to put, and I would, because the test was multiple choice, but I would make them go back and put a full answer, right? So write a complete sentence, that's adding a second layer on, that a lot of this test, they did have to write complete sentences on.
That's what this question.
So I wouldn't focus on, like, it's not enough, I would focus on being very explicit about,
reading.
there you go.
Yeah, question 5, do you mind if I make it as an exit ticket?
You sure can, yep.
I'm going to submit.
And there's other questions too, but.
I would definitely do 3, I would definitely do 4,
I'm gonna do a couple, and it'll last me through the week, cause we'll just take time to do a couple questions a day. To make sure they're going back and then explaining the things to me as a group.
yep, I think those questions fall under what you needed. They have to go back into the text and show,
That is for next week.
yes.
How does that?
I know, but we got to a good point. We both know what you're doing next week. We looked at the data, we made a plan, we're gonna attack it. Next week, we do need to look though, just to see like at the end, did we get it?
That's for this, what do we know we achieved the goal?
Yeah, so I would, cause you're,
Maybe we print off another one
I
of
would
your
do-
stories.
and give it
and
to them
it's
on
in
Friday.
place.
but just do like 2 questions.
Yeah, like 2 questions.
Like 2
Can
questions.
we do this is the same as speakers and posters?
You can, well, so I would call this your pretest,
Okay.
cause you won't have time to do another pretest.
Okay.
So then I would do, like, maybe find another passage, like a short one with like 2 questions, and they have to do on their own to show that they can go back into the next and answer inference questions. Okay,
So what's the first?
and then you could look at that at the end of the week
More than.
to see if we got it.
60%.
Well, 80 would be great, but, you know, we'll see. Lastly, before we go, we need to have, I'm looking at things on Friday.
I was gonna say, can you check that? I see what parents are like signing up for that.
I'll update it and share it out with you guys tonight, and then Friday's the deadline.
That's more like that, and some of them, can we go now,
Yeah.
As I said, it's.
Yep, we'll do Friday the deadline, okay? Okay, so we know the plan for next week?
Thank you for this.